If you are new to the Be Your Own Kind brand, welcome. If you like what you hear and see, please subscribe to the Be Your Own Kind YouTube channel. And if you're listening to the podcast, please follow me. Also in the description box, you can find my Linktree link to all Be Your Own Kind related matters, such as the BYOK merch, where we sell items from t-shirts, sweatshirts, masks, and mugs. Also, you will find our website and the links to my social media pages. Also, we are always looking to collaborate with others, such as business owners, vloggers, bloggers, or just if you simply want to share your story. Last but not least, if you are looking to promote your business, Be Your Own Kind will gladly promote you. If you are interested in details, please email me at info@beyourownkind.com. Thank you for tuning in and for supporting the Be Your Own Kind platform. Hey lovelies, the Christmas season is approaching and we are now tasked with last minute shopping or creating new traditions in these untraditional circumstances. While most of us are all cozied at home, today we will go on a refreshing journey with our guest, music artist and podcaster Alexcia Plummer. Alexcia takes flight with eclectic curiosity as her pilot and Fernweh, which is a German phrase meaning longing for distant places, as her co-pilot. She is the host of Ampsconnected podcast, which connects the world through artists and presents one life story an episode. Before we start our journey, I want to wish everyone and their families a Merry Christmas. Now let's take flight. Do you find yourself overwhelmed with small business tasks? Well, Be Your Own Kind Freelancing is here to take the weight off. We specialize in assisting businesses with various administrative duties, HR consulting, online marketing, and editing services for podcasters and YouTubers. If you have a need we haven't mentioned, contact us to see if we can help. For more information, email us at info@beyourownkind.com. Leave the tedious tasks with us and take your time back.
This is technology, man.
Exactly. I'm learning a lot about it though, so.
And you're doing it well.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I was amazed by even the little questionnaire, the type form. And I'm like, oh my God, she is so ahead of me. I do not know what I'm doing at all, but it makes your life so much easier, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, because the picture, all the information I need is in one place, and I noticed it was like beforehand, it was just all over the place. Mm-hmm. So to be honest, I copied off another podcaster. I was a guest, and they sent me this form, and I'm like, oh, this is so organized. So yes. I created one for myself because I'm like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, I normally adapt what I see from other podcasters.
Well, I'm definitely stealing that from you. Well, connectors. Yes, you have heard, you are hearing another podcaster's voice. On this episode, we are mashing up again with another podcast / blog / video / so much. You have heard the voice of Renita Quirls. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. So how about I let you introduce yourself?
Okay, hi. My name is Renita Quirls, and I am the creator of the Be Your Own Kind platform. My platform is essentially about loving yourself. There's never an inopportune time to be you. With that platform, I do have a podcast, I have a blog, and I just started a YouTube channel. So that's all of it.
Y'all, she's doing all of it. And you know who I am. I am the host, the plug, Alexcia Plummer, host plug of Ampsconnected podcast. Connectors, you know what to do. Sit back, relax, do what you do, whatever you do while listening to a podcast. Okay, I know. Renita, this is going to be so amazing. I am so excited to finally connect with you because we have been talking for a couple months now about doing this.
Right.
And we're here.
Yes. I'm so happy about it. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna ask her, could she, could we collaborate? Because I watch I follow you on Instagram. I heard one of your episodes. I'm actually on SoundCloud now, so I can keep up with your episodes now, and I just love it. I like your perspective. You know, I can't say that about a lot of people, but I like your perspective and I like what you stand for. And you're all about being you, and embracing life to the fullest. So I love that.
Yeah. And I really appreciate your brand, Be Your Own Kind, because it's exactly what I strive to do and be every single day. And that's what also my platform is about, just allowing people to be exactly who they are, share who they are on my platform. So yeah, I appreciate you and your perspective as well.
Nice. Well, can you introduce yourself a little bit for me?
Yeah, my name is Alexcia Plummer. I am the host of Ampsconnected podcast. I'm also the visionary, the creator, the curator of Ampsconnected, which is a brand that allows artists from all over the world to do exactly what I said, share who they are, share their journey, their life story on becoming the artists they are today. And what my website, ampsconnected.com, my brand, what I'm doing is just building a hub for artists all over the world. You can find artists from all over the world right on my website. So that's just, I'm a singer. I'm also I'm speaking that into existence. I'm about to be an esquire. I am a lawyer. I'm taking the Indiana bar in February. So
Nice.
Yeah, very soon I will be able to say I am an attorney, not just a lawyer. So
Nice. Yeah. That's dope. What part of law will you be practicing?
So right now I negotiate contracts, research contracts, and I negotiate with universities here in the States and also universities and companies all over the world. Mm-hmm. And I love what I do. But this year made me know that I have to start living my life for my people. So I don't know if I really want to practice law, but I do want to be able to avail myself to people who need my help. After George Floyd's murder, people here in Lafayette were asking for an attorney because they were protesting and they, were locked up for disturbing the peace for whatever infraction, right? Mm-hmm. And what happened, they weren't trusting attorneys here. And they're like, well, where are the Black attorneys? They aren't here.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, there are no, the Black attorneys that you'll see here, there's one Black attorney, but he practices civil law. So you won't see him in the courtroom defending someone who's about to be put in prison, right?
Right.
So I'm like, that hurt my feelings a lot because I've been here off and on since 2014. I worked at the courthouse here. I clerked for a couple of the judges. And when it was in May, I was like, why am I not doing more for my people? So I decided I was taking MBA courses, but I dropped out of MBA school to just focus on being a beacon of hope for my people. Mm-hmm. So I decided then to go on and prepare myself to take the Indiana bar so that I can, I'm going to say it, I think I want to be a judge here. I think that's really where my heart, my goal is to be on the bench here.
So. I'll vote for you.
Hey. And you know what? I'm glad you said that because just a week ago, I ran into one of the candidates. We just had our election and a new court opened and one of the attorneys, she was running for that new court. She didn't win. He was a magistrate and I think I'm not sure if he became a judge on another bench or whatever, in another court, but she lost, and I was telling her that this is what I really would like to do, become a judge here in Lafayette. And she was saying, well, what about practicing law? How many years have you practiced? And you need to get some type of experience to be able to be a judge. And then my response was, well, it's a political position, that it's about being elected.
Right.
And, and though I understand practicing and being in the courtroom and acting as an attorney does give you experience, I feel like I'm almost giving my speech as my debate speech as to why you should vote for me. But it's real. Like, I don't think that I have to practice at this point in my life. I have had experience in the courtroom. I have seen the courtroom. I know what it takes to be a good attorney, but I also was a clerk for several judges. So I know how judges think. I know what it takes to be a good judge. And I think looking at all that has happened, even just here in Lafayette since May, I think I would be a great candidate to be a judge, because I know I interact with the people. I know what the people want, and I think I'm fair enough and also partial enough to see what is real, what is needed here, and not just follow precedent per se. Like, a lot of times judges, and I will never ever forget one of the judges I worked for, Judge Daniel. He basically changed this boy's life. He was a football player at Purdue, and he had gotten in a fight with his roommate over, I'm gonna say, a PS5. I don't even know what gaming station, but PS5 is in everybody's mind right now, right? And so he got in a fight over this gaming system, and he hit his roommate, knocked his jaw, and the state charged him with battery. Okay, well, the charge that he got was a felony charge, which meant that he would have to go to prison. So came before the judge, and the prosecutor again wanted to send him to prison. Well, he was kicked out of Purdue. He went to another school, and the school said, if you are able to come to our school, get this as a misdemeanor so that you can come to school and not be in prison, we will give you a scholarship.
Nice.
So, right. So now the judge is looking at this. I can either send him to prison or give him the chance to send himself to prison again, give him the opportunity, let him go to college, let him have that scholarship. Yes, he did what he did. He got kicked out of Purdue, but this other school is giving him the opportunity. I would be like that judge. No, I'm not going to send you to prison. I'm going to give you the opportunity to go on, because I know if I send you to prison, your life is practically over. Not because you went to prison, but also because you are a Black man. And I don't think that people, the judges, prosecutors, I don't think attorneys sometimes even realize it's just that real. He's a Black kid. He did something that was heinous, but it wasn't like he should lose his life over this.
And it was his first offense, right?
Right. It was.
Yeah.
And even the roommate, the victim here, said, please, I wish that this didn't happen. I know we could have resolved this some other way, but this, sending him to prison, is not the way. And the prosecutor was still trying to send him to prison. And it made me cry in the courtroom, because if the judge would have said, you know what, prosecutor, I believe you're correct, who knows what would have happened to him?
Right. I think they're more focused on winning a case. They don't think about someone's life. This is someone's son.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he has a future. You know, if he's getting scholarships for football, he's great. You know, he could potentially go to the NFL. So they're not looking at a life here. They're just looking at the case, you know,
Exactly.
and I feel like you have to have some type of people skills or some type of empathy with that job as well, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what I think sometimes lacks in the judicial system. And even the police, I'm losing my words right now, but like the policing, I would just say that, like, so we put our police in environments that they're not even accustomed to.
Right.
And then expect grand results. No, what happens, you're laughing because you know it's true. It's like, how can you take this person, you know, who's grown up white picket fence their entire lives, you put them in what we would call maybe a ghetto, and they're all of a sudden supposed to relate?
Right.
That's absurd.
Yeah.
And what really opened my eyes was this summer was being able to really interact with the public, really build friendships, relationships with people. You know, here in Lafayette, you hear Chicago people brought violence here. To an extent, maybe. Possibly. But you can't look at everybody from Chicago as, oh wait, you from Chicago, you're violent, I don't want to deal with you.
Right.
No.
I'm from Chicago. I'm one of those people.
See, there you go. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I'm one of those people that came from Chicago, but there's also a mixture of Gary, Indy, and even like broader cities. So you can't blame it on one particular. This is just our reputation right now. Yeah, it's Chicago has a very bad reputation. So if you say when I tell people I'm from Chicago, I do kind of get a look like, you're from there, like, are you trying to, you can't bunch a whole bunch of people, but we do, you know what I'm saying? Like, but yeah, I get shocking, like, oh my God, I didn't know you were from there. And it's like, there are awesome people in Chicago. Not everyone's killing people.
Exactly. And I will even say this summer for Juneteenth, one of my teammates, she's from Chicago. We had a Juneteenth celebration out in Centennial Park, and it was amazing. Like, we had 100 plus people out there, a lot of people from Chicago, and we had so much fun, so much food, so many children out there just having fun. We had music out there, and it really just showed me, you know what? I need to be in the courtroom when some of these people are in front of a judge, because no, just because you're from Chicago does not mean automatically that you deserve to be locked up or sent back to Chicago, because you don't belong here anyway.
Right, exactly. And you're from Louisiana, correct?
Yeah, I am.
So I know New Orleans has a bad reputation too. When Katrina happened and everyone was moving abroad, people were blaming the influx of violence on the New Orleans natives. You know, and I'm like, okay, Chicago actually did that as well. And it's like, are you serious?
And it's so unfortunate, because some of that may be true, but then we have to look at the underlying reason why. You know what? I was in Walmart last weekend, and we were going through the self-checkout line. Me and my friend, I had already gone through. She was doing her thing. And I was just waiting there, and the lady who watches over the two belts, she's like, yeah, you know, it's a shame that I have to sit here and watch these belts, because the other day somebody walked out with a whole basket full of groceries for free. And I was like, well, if they walked out of here with a whole basket, maybe they needed it. I'm not going to say they were just stealing because they wanted to. I won't say that. I won't say that somebody will risk their life for, you know, stealing a basket because they just found it enjoyable. Not to say people don't steal. I know that. I acknowledge that. But to be that bold, there's a lack there. And that's what saddened me most about Katrina was all of a sudden you have a spotlight on people who are displaced, but people focus on the crime that's being committed
Right.
instead of the lack. Well, maybe there should be some type of resource or help. There was not first aid.
Red Cross. What is it?
Come on.
Relief. It's something.
Yes, I can't even. FEMA. I was I have the FEMA trailers. That's what I had to think about. Yeah, the FEMA. We're supposed to have these types of organizations or committees that's supposed to fund us when we need relief. But does that really happen?
No.
We're looking at that now, even with this whole coronavirus pandemic.
Right. Well, my question, I'm going to play devil's advocate for a minute. So you're talking, okay, you were mentioning Katrina and people, pretty much looting. How do you feel about looting in the situation of Black Lives Matter that happened this year? Mm-hmm. What is your stance on that?
I do not condone looting, but I understand. I understand when you are pissed off and you could care less about somebody's business that would possibly have their insurance help them recover, right? Mm-hmm. Now, will I say I'm gonna go out and loot? No, but I do understand. I understand that people get angry and they lash out in different ways. I may cuss. Somebody else may go and, again, I'm not condoning this. Somebody else may go and punch holes in the wall.
Right.
Okay, now you have to go pay for that, So I'm not gonna say here that I'm not gonna bash anybody, but what I wish it didn't harm the businesses, honestly, because it broke my heart when I saw this Black guy. I think the video was from years ago. Mm-hmm. But he was crying out in the streets. He's like, why my business? I'm hurting as well. Why mine? I built this. I've been here with you, but you came to my place. And that I understood him. And I almost grieved with him because I would hate, my whole life I've built a thriving business. And then all of a sudden, because you are angry over the same fight that I'm angry about, but you're taking your anger out on my business, mm-hmm. I understand his grief. Mm-hmm. So I wish that the looters who are protesting or looting in the name of, I would hope that they would not be looting their own people's stores. That's what I'm gonna.
In a lot of cases, that was the case. Mm-hmm. But I also feel even if it wasn't a Black, I don't know, I was indifferent. A lot of people didn't agree with me, but I'm just like, what did those businesses have to? Well, Gucci, not Gucci. What was the store? Macy's deserved it, and I'm like, did they? Mm-hmm. What about all the people that work there though? That may be minority. Like now they don't have jobs. Mm-hmm. Maybe people got laid off. I don't know. I was just thinking of the grander scheme of things. Like I understand, like you said, people are infuriated. Nothing is. There's no justice. These cops are just skating by, mm-hmm. They're just killing people like it's a video game. Mm-hmm. I get it. I get the anger. I get the rage, but I still don't agree with the looting.
Yeah. And I was talking to a couple business owners around here, and it made me have a moral debate in my own head when one of a good friend, she had the biker boys, guarding her building.
Mm-hmm.
And so while I'm protesting, I'm like, oh wow. So how do I look at you? Do I look at you as a biker girl? Because when I was just sitting at one of the restaurants, I don't know if you're familiar with the fresh air eats that they were having. Oh, so they on Main Street, some of the restaurants, they had people outside, like on the street instead of just like on their patios. So obviously if people are out on the streets, it's supposed to be pedestrian only, right?
Right.
Well,
I agree with that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it was when Joe Biden and Kamala Harris were announced as president, vice president. I was sitting outside one of the restaurants and the biker boys come rolling through. And I'm like, obviously, this is a protest against what everybody is celebrating right now.
Mm-hmm.
But the audacity, And so then back in May, when I'm protesting and I'm looking at these businesses and these business owners that I'm friends with, and their businesses are being guarded by these biker boys, now I'm like, oh, well,
yeah.
How do I look at you?
Because on one hand, they could just be protecting their business. On the other, they're not supportive of this movement.
Mm-hmm. And they've always shown me love. And that's why I'm not going to even say the names of the businesses.
Right.
But they've always shown me love. But I always think in my head, when we're at that time where if you have to step up and save me, would you? I don't know. I'm from the South, so, I've had these conversations, and even like my mom, and I obviously my mom would choose me, right? My mom is Black, but my mom, to an untrained eye, my mom is lighter skinned. She has blue eyes one day, green eyes the next. Her hair is straighter, softer, curlier. And so, again, to an untrained eye, you wouldn't think of her as a Black woman, right?
Right.
And so my brother, he was the mischievous one, but I love him because he always kept you on your toes. He asked my mom one day, "Ma, when you were younger, did you beat up on Black people?" And my mom's like, "What?" And she's like, "Where did you get that from?" He's like, "Well, Ma, white people don't like Black people." And so she's like, "Well, no, I'm Black. I just have a lighter skin tone." And then I started thinking, wow, that was a question. And mind you, he was like really young, like maybe 5-6 years old. And then it made me think, well, I wonder, and it didn't make me wonder, but it just made me think, like, if the KKK were to come to our house and they saw my mom, she would make us hide, and could she save us because of how she appeared, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's saddening is that a 5-year-old sees that, and can see, the destruction and the division. Like, that's what saddens me the most, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm speechless on that. And I did read that you protested on Facebook. Like, that story was pretty big. You led 50 people.
Oh no. So like, what was so miraculous about this whole summer, and what did his daughter, George Floyd's daughter, say? That his death rocked the world, right?
Right.
Like, the whole world felt it. And I just was, quote unquote, in South Africa, and they have a similar word to our N word. It's a K word.
Okay.
And she was saying at 5 years old, she was called the K word. And I'm like, wow, the same person. She messaged me. It was that weekend after George Floyd's murder, and she asked me about how I was doing. And I was like, I was shocked. I was overwhelmed with emotion because in South Africa, they have a lot of race issues as well. And so when she texted me, I was just like, wow, you took the time to reach out to me just to see how I was doing. And all I could reply was, thank you. Thank you for standing with me and my people here, joining in the fight. Because she said that she was signing every petition she could come across and, standing in solidarity with the protests happening here. I say that to say, I did not lead, I did not call any protest. I joined all of the protests here. And yeah, but what was so amazing was that so many people came and we just hit the ground running. So many networking was happening and groups were being formed. And some of the people who was on my team, I mentioned earlier, Juneteenth. So shout out to Jasmine. Jasmine, I'm so excited because I need some water. But Jasmine, she's from Chicago, came here. She was one of the leaders. She was one of the ones who organized. And we got together. It was Jasmine, Fred, TK, and two others from an organization, YWTF, here, Vanessa, Ulissa, Rachel. So these people, we all found each other at one of the protests.
Okay.
And we just, it was fate. We were supposed to be together. We're already talking about Juneteenth for next year, and yeah,
okay,
yes.
I want to come next year.
yes. Because again, I was so proud of what we were able to do. We got that together in like a week. And it was, again, like 100 plus people out there. The news came out. And what was the best moment, the best takeaway for me was when this older lady, I'll say she's in her 60s, she said she had never celebrated Juneteenth. She had never heard of Juneteenth until recently. And I'm like, wow. Since a kid, I don't know if it's like a Southern thing, but since a kid, I had always celebrated Juneteenth.
Really?
Yes.
I'm a Midwestern. I didn't hear about Juneteenth until my 20s. And I still had to celebrate. Like, I was excited this year about it, but I didn't know anything about a celebration here in Lafayette. I was at home.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard about it till my 20s.
Well, no, definitely be on the lookout. June 19th, 2021. I don't know where exactly, but the food's going to be on point because Jasmine is definitely on point with the food. So that's going to happen. And even my band, I'm in the Velocity District here in Lafayette. We performed, Ebony and the Ruckus performed. We had a DJ out there, DJ Don. He was out there on the ones and twos. It was a lot of fun. So definitely be on the lookout.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I want to go. I want to come. My sister is I have a middle sister who was raised in South Carolina. Long story short, we met about maybe 10, 11 years ago. And it's a lot of stuff she tells me is like such as this. And I'm just like, how did all of this go over my head? And I'm like, is it regional or is it just wasn't a subject growing up. Like I knew the basics, like whatever school taught us, but I didn't know some of the things that I felt that I should have known. So she's been educating me. She's like, you need to read this book, and George Floyd is what actually prompted, this, because I'm listening to people talk online and I'm like I'm resonating with it, but some of that stuff is like flying over my head and I'm like, wait a minute. Wait. So I have a totally different perspective by by researching and learning more of my history, but I never actually took the time to read it and know what was going on, so I do implore anyone, African American, Latino, whatever, freshen up on your heritage, read, study, learn your history in its entirety.
Definitely.
That's how you build pride, about who you are, so yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I love that I can look back and appreciate those moments where, I was a kid, didn't really know that, it was not a national holiday, but I would say living in the South, it must have been different living in the Midwest or in the North, right? Like we had slavery for real in the South. So when it was time for us, that's what Juneteenth was about. It took time for people up here to say, to get on their horses or, walk, do what Harriet Tubman. By the way, that movie was amazing.
Yes.
Like it took time for people to go down June 19th. It was, now I can't even, today was a long day. I'm sorry, y'all. But so many years after we were free, for them to say, hey, y'all are finally free, what a day. What a day we can never, ever forget.
Right.
So I think that's probably the reason the people not from the South really, celebrated Juneteenth. So.
Right, because I wasn't alone. Not too many people will admit it, but I wasn't alone in just learning about it. You know what I'm saying? So, everyone, I saw all the celebrations online. I'm like, this is awesome. And then when July 4th came, it was kind of quiet, and I'm like, I think that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, and I think it's unfair because I've seen even under the comments about the Juneteenth celebration we had this year, people were like, well, why all of a sudden they want to have these celebrations? And it's like, well, we've been having them.
Right.
We're just now spreading, or people are now receptive even of these types of celebrations and want to celebrate. So why not? Why wouldn't we not have a celebration when my Black people want to celebrate their heritage? They want to celebrate being Black, being who we are, eating our food, enjoying our music, being with our people. Why not?
Right. Exactly. And that's what my sister said. She was like, I'd rather everyone catch on now than never.
Exactly. Why wait?
Right.
We waited all this time.
Right.
Why not? Yeah. So I'm definitely excited about next year's celebration.
Me too. Well, I mean, you mentioned on one of your platforms that your love for travel, and I know that you love to travel. What do you call it? A wanderlust?
Yes.
So to speak. Yes. So what was your favorite traveling experience?
Oh, so I'll say, I say that my brand, even my life, is led by Fernway. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but that's just a spirit of being homesick, but homesick for nowhere in particular. Yeah, so I love traveling. I would say you said the best experience?
Yeah, your favorite traveling experience?
I would say my favorite traveling experience was when I moved to South Korea. I was going to say South Africa. I have South Africa on the brain. When I moved to South Korea, that was probably the best and my most favorite traveling experience. Yeah. Yep. Because I gave that to myself, and it allowed my brain to open up to so much more, like a different way of life even. I remember when I went, oh my God, I cried like every day the first 3 months because I moved there. I neglected to say that. I moved there after undergrad to teach. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to take a year off, go travel a little bit, make some money. But I knew I wasn't ready for law school. So let me do this, and then I can always come back home and do law school. So yeah, I moved to South Korea. I was in the mountains in a super, super small town called Doge or Dogecho. And it's this super, super small town, smaller than Lafayette, in the mountains. I could literally run around and everyone would be like, oh, Alexcia teacher, hello. And I'm like, hi, everybody, you know me. Because yes, I was later on, I was one of 3 Black people in the city. So I was not hard to find at all. I cried every day for the first 3 months until I had a dream where I got on the plane and went back home to Louisiana. And when I got off the plane, my mom handed me a roll of toilet paper. And she's like, all right, here you go. And so when I woke up, yeah, I know. When I woke up and I saw that I was still in Korea, I was like, oh, all right. So that dream meant, okay, you better get your shit together because you come back here, what are you going to do? You know? Right. And when I got up, I immediately went to the Hapkido gym that was like right down the mountainside from me. And I became a black belt in Hapkido. I loved tutoring. So I started tutoring even people in the neighborhood, some of the ajumas, those are the older women. Mm-hmm. I had some kids I used to teach. I made friendships with Koreans who are still in Korea today. I met people who were in Korea from all over the world who we still are in contact. I was able to travel to China, and I don't think I would have done that if I had not been in Korea. Right. And that was another awesome experience. So I would say if I had to pick one traveling experience, moving to South Korea will forever be my best, most favorite experience.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Dope. That's all I can say.
Yeah. I cannot wait to go back. So if I go back, I'm going to say, Renita, come, please.
Yes. So would that be a country that you, like if you could live in a country for the rest of your life, would that be that country?
Mm-hmm. Nice. Yes. I could definitely. It's every country that I've been to, something is always, gonna be annoying, right? Even in America, something is annoying about America. Some people would never, ever move from America. I love America. I love that, I can do all that America offers to me, right? Right. I sometimes hate when I go I'm trying to remember, because it's been about 11 years since I've been in Korea. Let me think. I'm trying to think what I missed in Korea. But it's just, I'll even say the food, right? So, I'll say the food. So in Korea, they have pizza, but it's not the same type of pizza that I can get from Papa John's Pizza Hut here in America, because their Pizza Hut or Papa John's, because there is Pizza Hut there, but they'll serve like corn on the pizza with potato in the crust instead of cheese. It's like, I don't know about that, but okay. That's not what I was going for today. But all right,
I'm trying to imagine it. It just feels like disrespect.
Oh yeah, because you're from Chicago, where y'all known for y'all's pizza.
We're really serious about pizza in Chicago.
So right. So yeah, I would definitely move back to South Korea. Yeah. What about you? What's one of your favorite or most exciting traveling experiences?
I didn't have a knack for traveling until COVID.
Oh, really? Now that's odd.
Because I'm looking at, like, you have time, right? So I'm looking at all these different places online on YouTube, and I'm like COVID made me realize I'm not living. Because I'm in the house and me and my husband are kind of homebodies, so I don't know if it's because they said stay in the house that all of a sudden I was like, I want to go everywhere. And I realized, like, life is passing you by, girl. You need to live some life. So I can't wait for it to open up. I have never been out of the country. However, one of my favorite states was Memphis. Yeah, so Memphis, Tennessee. Me and my husband had so much fun there.
Yeah.
There's so much culture. Yes.
Yeah.
There's so much culture, and we rode around and throughout the city, and the food and the music culture, and we went to I think Martin Luther King Museum is there, right? Yeah. So
yeah.
I get that mixed up with the civil rights one in Atlanta, because I went to that one too.
Cool.
Yeah, which was awesome. So I loved Memphis a lot, so much that I wanted to almost live there. Because
really?
Yeah, I loved it. And my husband was like, this is just the touristy stuff though, babe. I'm like, but I love the music. I can just listen to live music all the time.
Yeah. I enjoyed Memphis. The last time I was in Tennessee, me and my mom, we took like this little mother-daughter trip to Nashville. And I liked Nashville as well. We went to, oh my gosh, what, y'all, I'm sorry. I am tired. I have gotten like little sleep. Oh my gosh, Dolly Parton. I have to Google this right now. It's the venue in Nashville, Tennessee, where like the country singers.
I've heard of that, but I don't know the name of it. Let me see.
Oh my gosh, country music hall. Oh my gosh, why am I drawing a blank?
That's okay. Nashville. What you say, country?
Yeah, it's
Country Music Hall of Fame?
No, it's not that. It's like where Nashville, Tennessee. Oh my gosh, now music venues. Yeah, Grand Ole Opry, duh.
Okay.
Yes, the Grand Ole. I know connectors. Y'all are like Grand Ole Opry. Yeah, yes. How could I forget that? The Grand Ole Opry. That was a really, really cool experience. Just knowing that I'm not a country fan at all.
Really?
But no, not at all.
Oh, okay.
But knowing that all of the country greats and musicians, go to Grand Ole Opry, and it means you made it. So it was a cool experience to go and tour and just be there.
Right. Yeah. I guess I'm shocked by that, because most musicians like kind of correlate the blues with country, like so most musicians will like both. So that's why I was like, really, you don't like country?
No, I like the blues. My grandma. So Memphis, Tennessee is not far from Clarksdale, Mississippi. That's where my dad's side of the family's from.
Okay.
My grandma is a singer. She never went off to become a professional singer. Long story short, her people were super religious and they were stealing her shine. Oh. So I know they kill all her vibe. So she was stuck in Clarksdale, Mississippi. Clarksdale, Mississippi is the birthplace of the blues. There's like a blues museum. B.B. King, he's from Clarksdale, Mississippi. It's like a whole thing, right?
Right.
And I look at my grandma like, I think you're the reason why I am the singer I am today, because she definitely has the voice of an angel, like for real. But yeah, I love the blues, but country, I'm good.
Like, it's the same though, like, and excuse me if I'm offending lovers, but I feel like it's the same. It's a story that is mainly sad, and then there's a lesson, in that sadness that the person learned, or they grew through it or something. Like, it's a story basically. So I always kind of thought the blues was country in a way. Like, it's the same to me in some aspects.
So let's think then about love songs or R&B, right? Is usually about loving somebody. I was just listening to a song this morning, or better yet, one of my most recent favorite songs is BS by her, Jhené Aiko and her, right? And it is being in love, being back on your BS, doing what you want to do, knowing, recognizing people for their BS or whatever.
Right.
So I think lyrics, but it's more, for me, it's more about the groove of the song. Because to me, country songs are wonky tonk and a donkey donk, and I'm loving my baby in my tonky trunk. But whereas the blues is like, I don't know, I heard my baby, she give me the blues. It's just, I can relate more with, yeah, I don't know. I guess my aunt, she loves country music, so I don't know. I just, yeah, I don't know. It just don't sit right with my soul. I mean, unless we're talking, I'm gonna take my horse down an old town road.
Yeah,
now, I can get behind that kind of country music, but the average.
Tim McGraw, Brad Paisley, Carrie Underwood. Yeah, clearly I like country music.
So my bad for offending you.
No. It's people. It's not the actual genre. It's just certain people that sing country music that I like. Like, I'm not like a country song head. I don't know anymore. I thought I liked pop, but then I liked R&B. I went through that phase. Then I liked hip hop, and now with music, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love all types of music, really. So I won't say that I hate country music. It's definitely not my top 5. I could appreciate a good country song, but my go-to, especially when I'm singing, is a good R&B. Give me a good ballad. Give me a Anita Baker meets Whitney Houston meets Sade. That's my whole vibe right there.
And might I add, I am not surprised you said that. First time I listened to you sing, I think it was like a karaoke at a mutual friend's birthday party. And they were saying you were about to, like, the Sade song started. And I was like, people don't mess with Sade. Like, that's exactly what I said. I'm like, who messing with Sade? So I look up and you start singing, and I'm like jaw drop. I'm like, oh my God. She sounds amazing, because people don't mess with Sade songs and Anita Baker songs. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got up there and you killed it. And I was like, I had to apologize. I'm like, I judged her. I'm like, who's trying to sing Sade?
No worries. Say, what you doing judging me?
I've been to karaoke and people have tried to, do certain artists, Whitney Houston and that. And it's just like, and then they get up and it's like, like, I know this is for fun, but like they have a nice voice, but their voice just it's not doing the song justice. That's all I'm gonna say.
And that's why, like, I love karaoke. I think I picked that up living in Korea. Koreans love karaoke. They even have I don't know if you're familiar, but there's a karaoke bar here. But in Korea, that's like a real thing. Like, everywhere there are karaoke bars, noraebangs. And I think that's where I really could appreciate karaoke. But I hate it because people be like, nah, I'm not singing after you. Or no, you in the room, I'm not singing. And I'm like, y'all, this is supposed to be for fun. So let me go up here and try to sing a song that I really don't know, so we can all be comfortable. But
it's gonna sound good no matter what you say. I stick to 80s songs because they're not really singing. Like for instance, Janet Jackson, "Miss You Much." She's not singing that song. She's like, "Shy," and then you just keep going. She's like talking. So you're safe with 80 songs because most of them couldn't sing anyway. So it's kind of like it.
I'm hearing once quarantine is over, we should have like a podcast mashup karaoke party.
Oh yeah.
I think that would be fun. And I think we have a lot of friends here who love karaoke. So
yeah, but all of y'all can sing.
I mean,
60 to 80.
Look, here's my philosophy on singing. Like for real. So connectors, even my connectors, my followers, your people, listen, everyone can sing. Here's the thing though, everyone has a different technique. Your technique may not be like my technique. You may not enjoy your technique. You may not enjoy somebody else's technique. You may enjoy my technique, but everybody can sing. So don't tell yourself that you cannot sing, Renita. Just say, maybe my technique is not my favorite, but I can sing because you can.
I'm going to share that thought with my family and then I'll get back to you.
Tell them, yes, Alexcia said I can sing.
Right. And they're going to want your contact information. Like, don't tell her that. But you are correct.
Just tell them, maybe you don't like my technique, but I can sing. Thank you very much.
Right, because a lot of people argue with me about Alicia Keys, because I'm like, her name's Alicia Keys, but she sings off key, but a lot of people like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. I like her style. I like what she stands for, but I wouldn't pay to see her live. But that doesn't mean I don't like her, but people get mad when I'm like, I think she's dope as a person, though. She's a dope piano player and stuff like that. It's just dope.
Yeah, that's actually just like, and I hate to say it because sometimes she can sound cute, but my girl Candy from Escape, yeah, she's not my favorite singer, but girl, you can write a bad song. You can run a bad business. I won't take that away from you. Right. But the singing is not my favorite.
No. She's okay. She was okay in Escape, but I don't even know her name. Mm-hmm. The other girl could blow.
I know Tiny, of course, but there was even another one. I can't even recall right now.
Tasha and somebody. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, Candy was okay, but compared to like the other ones, yeah, but she could write a good song. And she has wrote great songs. So I
mean, like award-winning songs, right? Like
Scrubs, didn't she?
Yes, yes. So I won't ever take that from her, but singing, nah, I'm good.
So, what is your favorite song to sing?
My favorite song to sing, that's hard because it really just depends on my mood.
When you're in a chill mood, what's your favorite songs?
Well, how about this? So my band, the Velocity District, we are about to release a recording of Strange Fruit. We released a rehearsal recording, but we're going to do it like a little bit better. And I think right now that has been the song my spirit most resonates with. It's just about what's going on today. And unfortunately, Billie Holiday, she was the first to sing it decades ago. And the same thing is happening now. Right? She sings about black bodies swinging she says, black bodies swinging in the southern breeze. Sorry, I am not prepared to sing, but it's like, yes, there are bodies being found in trees, but here people are being shot down,
Right.
or people aren't able to even thrive, live their best life. So that's probably a song. My band is also preparing for a Whitney song, Shoop Shoop. So that's been a fun song.
Oh, that
Yeah,
song.
I know. That's been a fun song to even practice. But really, give me an Anita Baker. Yeah, just a good.
Sade. You're good with Sade. I'm trying to tell you. I actually heard your version of Strange Fruit on YouTube.
Oh,
It was beautiful.
There's a strange fruit, blood on the leaves, and blood at the root. Black bodies swinging in the southern breeze. Strange fruit hanging from the poplar tree.
It was beautiful.
the one on this is a little known fact. The one on YouTube, I mean, was it the one just by myself?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that I know because there's so many versions out there. Because there's that one that you're talking about, and I actually recorded that one in Dubai. I was in my hotel room, and I was like, "Yo, this song still hits today." And so I was living in a hotel in Dubai, and that song just made me record it. And so that's the version that you hear on YouTube.
It was beautiful. You can hear the emotion in your voice as you're singing. Yeah. So if you could open a show for any artist, who would it be?
Oh my gosh. So of course, I am Whitney Houston's biggest fan. So if she were still here, I would be so honored to open for her. If we were talking about people still on this earth, I have been obsessed with Tank and the Bangers. I don't know if you've heard, they are a band from New Orleans. They are amazing.
Okay.
I said bangers, not bangers, bangers. So I would definitely open for them. Or if I wanted to be a little more, I don't know, if I had like a once in this lifetime opportunity, I would say Anita Baker. I know she's already retired, but I wish that they would have another tribute to her while she's still here. Mm-hmm. I would love to sing for her. So
she would enjoy it too.
Aw.
She's so serious too about her music. She don't play. Mm-hmm. I saw her a performance on YouTube, and I'm like, man, I wish I'd have got tickets to that.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Amazing. So has the pandemic affected your music career at all?
As
far as performing and
so of course we did have a bunch of gigs canceled.
Right.
But we were fortunate. We still had like 7 gigs still. Some were virtual, some were out on patios where people were 6 feet from us. Mm-hmm. So in a way, yes. In a way, no, because as you know, Lafayette is a super small town, so we don't have many opportunities, but it did stop us from the opportunities, outside of Lafayette. Mm-hmm. So that was a bummer. But it made me, you asked, how did the pandemic treat me? I have enjoyed this year. I honestly, I don't know if you can see it. This is my cousin's price of fame. So I'm going to shout out his business. So I think this year has been all about this, the price of fame, the price of what you want. And maybe I won't be famous, but everything that I want this year made me focus on it. it made me sit down. What do you want for, your body, your physical, your mental, spiritual? What do you want? And although, I can say, oh, well, I wasn't able to travel anywhere I was expecting to travel this year. Okay, but you're still alive. You're
Right.
still able to connect with people now virtually. And that even opened my eyes. I knew about Zoom last year, but in my mind, I limited myself because I thought, oh, well, my podcast is about connecting with people all over the world. So how am I going to connect with people all over the world if I'm working a 9 to 5? And yeah, I know that I can go get on the plane to, I don't know, to New York, to Dubai, to wherever. But how can I really do that when I work a 9 to 5?
Right.
And this year was like, girl, stop limiting yourself. Here's technology.
Right.
And just today, earlier, I was in South Africa, So definitely it made me sit and appreciate everything. And I stole this from Babyface. It was Babyface, the verses with, again, Teddy Riley. So y'all, I am so sorry. Again, I have gotten like little sleep, but I'm going. So Teddy Riley and Babyface, right? He's sitting there, Babyface, just ready to press play. Teddy Riley is there with all of this equipment, looking all fly, looking all good for the camera, have this cameraman, have that sound tech, and Babyface was just chilling, sitting back at his desk, ready to press play. And that's what I learned about this year. Just press play. You don't have to have all of the equipment. Yes, I have a ring light right here. I didn't have a ring light before, but it's like, you grow with what you have. If I didn't continue with my podcast, believing in my podcast, even with I used to record right on my phone. Then I got lapel mics. Now I actually have equipment. But had I, gotten frustrated with just having my phone or just having lapel mics, I wouldn't have gotten here today. So all of that to say, the pandemic has been amazing, has been eye-opening, has been challenging, yet it's been a year of hell of a growth. How about you?
Same here. I've had the Your Own Kind platform for 2 years prior, and it was a hobby. And with the pandemic going on, it turned into like a full-time, like a second job. And I was able to produce more podcasts and write more and connect with more people. And then I started the YouTube channel, and I've learned different skills like web design and how to edit and videos and different type of software equipment. And I even got an EIN for Be Your Own Kind. Like I paid off like all my car notes, like this was a year where, normally through life, we make excuses because we got to go here, got to do that. But it was no excuse this year. It was no excuse. Like you can do whatever you want to do. You have the time. And that was the excuse any other year. I don't have time.
Right.
This. But I work from home. So I have nothing but time. Like when I clock out, I'm home. There's no travel. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I was able to do a lot of things that I've had on my to-do list for years. For years, even now I'm working on like my health. I joined this thing called Noom or whatever, and it's easy going, like it's seamless if you just follow what they say or whatever. So now I get a chance to work on me. I got a chance to connect with me. And one thing because my husband has to go outside for work. So I'm from 8 to 5, I'm at home by myself. So it was a lot of self-reflection. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of learning things about me that I didn't have time to, a lot of meditation, a lot of talks with God. And I'm inspired. Like I'm just inspired. And it's like, I feel like I don't have limits. Like I can learn everything in my mind. I got to slow it down because I want to keep opening businesses, but But now I have the confidence that I can do it though, you know, and I didn't enter this year like that.
Yes.
So, yeah, it's been a blessing.
I appreciate that. Like I thought, you know, when we were going out, I don't have time to do this because I still have to transport back and forth, and I could be home doing this, but no, I'm at work. And now, yeah, I've been very fortunate to be able to work from home and try to build my platform. It's hard, but this year has allowed us, it seems, to have that little extra time to just do just a little bit more for ourselves.
Exactly. And I'm loving it. And we work at the same place.
Yeah, right? Like
I saw it on your LinkedIn. I know I feel like he was like I was really on Google, but yeah.
And it's so funny because I'm usually like that as well. Like, let me Google everything about this person. Let me stalk your Instagram. Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, she like, wait a minute, how you know that? So yeah. So I do have one more music related question.
Okay.
So how do you feel the internet has impacted the music business overall?
Ooh, so I'll say when I was in undergrad, I went to school in New Orleans. I went to Loyola, and I was a music industry major. And that program allowed me to know everything you would need to know about being an artist, like not only just getting on a stage and singing and go. So that program, it taught us not to only be out on the stage, right? But it also taught us how to promote ourselves, how to build a website, how to network, how to do all those types of things. And also, the same program, we had to write a paper. One of my papers was on Napster and all of those downloading, streaming, sharing platforms. And at that time, so that I graduated in 2010. So of course, now 10 years later, the internet has changed a lot. Music has changed a lot. Being able to access music has drastically changed. You can access music almost anywhere on anything that you have, right? Your phone, your tablet, your laptop, your computer, your radio, right? Yeah. And so, but then even on the radio, you have other streaming. So even on your computer, you have radio streaming platforms. And so my paper was about really being able to pay the artist for what they are worth. So you ask about the internet and music, and I think of it as it's amazing for artists. Sometimes as artists, we don't want to give away things for free, but the internet allows us to put out content for free so that our consumers, our audience, they can get. And then we move into like platforms like Apple Music or Tidal or Spotify. And I remember the argument was, well, they aren't really paying the artists what they're worth. Well, to an extent, that's why we have Tidal now, right?
Right.
So I just think we are fortunate to have the internet and have all of these different ways of reaching our audience. We have now, you can text your audience, you know? So I think the internet just allowed for music to grow. It allowed even somebody like me to connect with artists from on the other side of the world. What's her name? Oh my gosh. Christina Apple, I think that's her name. She sampled a Ivorian. I'm sorry, I'm losing it. But she is an artist here in the States, and she sampled an Ivory Coast traditional song. I love her song, But then I kind of had a moral dilemma, because is she profiting off of another country's heritage?
Right.
And although like in the States, we have open domain. So I guess by this time, if it's a folk song, so the song would be open for use, right? But I wish that we weren't pirates necessarily. I'm glad that we have the internet so that we can learn about other people's culture, so that we can sample music. But I also wish that there was some type of way that people would know, oh, this song is from, the Ivory Coast. Or I wish artists were more cognizant of just recognizing the birth of music, or where they sample their music from.
Right.
So I don't know. I appreciate the internet with music. I think, well, there are organizations out there that, I can speak about copyright all day long. That's one of my passions, intellectual property. That's what I do. I negotiate contracts for research. Most time it's dealing with intellectual property. And I appreciate intellectual property, and almost empathize with artists when their music is pirated, because I understand you stayed up all night long, or you bled, you sweat all over this for someone to just, oh, well, I'm gonna take it now and tweak it just here, and now we have another song.
Right.
I get, I can feel your pain with that. We have now Ed Sheeran and Isaac. It's not Isaac Hayes, but that's the first person I thought of. But Isaac Hayes, what did you say?
Rest in peace.
I know. Honey,
It is your, isn't it? 17. Oh, I know what song it is, but I don't know who sang that. We found love right where. That song?
We are. Yeah. But that's also the tune. It's like so many songs start to sound the same.
Yeah.
And I like that artists, and what copyright law does, it allows artists to use other artists' songs, but you have to recognize that artist. You have to give that artist, their just due.
Right.
So I love that the internet, and I feel like I'm talking out of both sides of my neck, but that's exactly what happens in the world of intellectual property, copyright law, and what happens in the courtroom is because of this. Like, we need to be able to have access to learn and access to different musicians, different artists, so that even our music can evolve.
Right.
Music is forever evolving, because now all of a sudden we're introduced. I just learned today, Kwaito music is a South African music she said that it's like funk music mixed with hip hop, mixed with R&B. And it's like, okay, but it also has like a reggae in there. And I'm like, okay, all right then. But how would they access it without the internet?
Right.
So I think it's at the end of the day, just give people their props. That's what I'd say about it.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, here at I don't know where I'm at now. Here at BYOK podcast, we have a staple question.
Okay.
So if you can describe yourself in one word, what would that be and why?
Okay. So while I think about this question, I'm going to throw out a question. Well, I know that sounds, because I have a staple question as well. Okay, so cool. I'm going to ask you a question. While I answer your question, you're going to think about my question.
Gotcha.
Okay. So if you could go anywhere in the world, where would you go and why? I think we kind of talked about that earlier, but where would you go and who would you bring with you, or who would you visit? Okay.
Okay.
So I'll let you think about that, because I think I know the word that I would choose. I would choose patience. And I would say patience because I definitely had to learn patience, not just this year, but growing. And somebody said it was my aunt who said they visited me last summer, and she's like, "You're so patient." And I would have never said that about myself. I would not I'm claiming to be patient. I practice so much patience. It's a daily struggle. But patience for me just means waiting for the best, waiting, and not just waiting in vain, but waiting for the right moment. Like, we hear divine timing, and sometimes we want something so badly. Sometimes we want to put out a project right now because it looks so good. I just want people to see it right now, but it's not time. Even connecting with different people, we were supposed to connect weeks ago.
Right.
I've learned about you since last year, but it's patience. And that's how I'm interpreting it. It's, yes, I want to connect with you, be your own kind. I would love to be back in Dubai right now, but learning patience, being patient with other people has allowed my life to be just a little bit more sweeter. Even though I may not have my car right now, I'm not rushing to get a car. I've been fine without a car, but I'm being patient enough to know that the car that I want is the car that I want. And I'm not just gonna rush off and just get a car because I don't have a car. Right. I'm being patient for the person who's supposed to be my bae, you know? I'm being patient for the food that I really want to eat, because if I eat right now, it's not going to be really what I want. But if I wait just a little bit longer, you know, I'm going to enjoy my meal later. So I think that's probably the word. And even being patient with other people, I have learned that just sometimes we get caught up in what we're doing. We get caught up in our needs, that if we can't be patient with the other person, we can come off as needy, entitled, demanding. Mm-hmm. And that's something that I do not ever want to come off as, because I'm not. So that's my word. I'm going to ask you your same question too. While I don't know if you're still thinking about my question, but what word would you give yourself?
No one has ever double backed on me with that question.
Really? Wow.
Hey, just let me ask. If I could describe myself in one word, what would it be? Me. I am. You know, like me. There is no unique. There is no one out there like me. Like, to the point where there isn't an adjective that I can think of. And I say that not from a sense of pretentiousness, but in a sense of majority of my life, I was trying to fit everybody else's adjective, everybody's else, you know, thoughts or ideas or plans that people had for me in my life, till I never stopped to figure out who I was. So I had to take all of that out of the equation, who I'm supposed to be like, who I'm supposed to be, where I'm supposed to be, how my life is this, you know, and realize, what do I want? What do I want to be? Mm-hmm. You know, who do I want to be? And just me. I just want to be me. Yeah. You know, I don't want an extra adjective. I just want to be Renita.
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I think that's what made me start this, because I'm like, who else feels like this? Who else feels like they have to be something else or someone else in order to be worthy of love and acceptance?
Yeah.
No,
I like that.
yeah, just me. I one word, me.
Yeah.
And I'm embracing that because it just feels so good to wake up in the morning, you know, and it's not like life is perfect. It's not like many things change, but my perspective has. You know, I'm comfortable with me, and that's enough for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's all it takes, is believing in yourself, knowing you, who you are, loving you, so you can show up as the best you, because nobody else can.
Right. Thank you. You tricky. I actually think about, like, I've asked that question so many times, no one has ever came back and asked.
Well,
Oh wow. And it was on the spot. I was like, oh. So I've been thinking about your question. I would take my husband with me anywhere I go. And at first I wanted to go to like Europe so bad, like Paris, Italy, you know, all those places. But during like my YouTube traveling, I actually would like to tour Africa. Egypt, Ghana is drop dead gorgeous. And you know, and excuse my ignorance, but I've always like I know it's impoverished. That's how I grew up with it. You know, no one ever communicated to me how beautiful and rich it is, and how it's people my color. You know, they're not just, you know, in hay houses, but you know, they have culture there, and everyone's not poor. There's actually wealthy as well, like with anywhere, you know what I'm saying? And there's royalty there that no one speaks of, you know, and the ambiance and the togetherness, and it's like everyone's like, I want to go to Wakanda, but we have a whole continent of Wakanda. You know what I'm saying? Like, it actually exists. It's not a Marvel didn't make that up.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it exists.
Exactly.
And I've been looking at a lot of different places just in Africa alone, and I kind of want to go everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So yeah.
I definitely go with you. I am like looking for the day where I can do a whole eat, pray, love trip, but
Yes.
all of Africa. I've visited Nigeria, and like you said, you know, here, I won't even say just in the States, but all over, people will say, oh, Africa is, or no, I'll just limit it to the States because we can be kind of ignorant. So it's like, you know, people are like, oh, well, Africa is nothing but lions and giraffes just walking about. Well,
Right.
first of all, Africa is a continent. Let's go to a country, okay?
Right.
And then we go to Nigeria. Oh, Nigeria is nothing but, like you said, huts and people just in poverty all over the place. When in actuality, no, people are living in houses better than yours. I'm just saying, like, you know, and it's really sad that I won't say most, but some Americans have just such narrow-minded minds that they can't think that, hey, maybe coming to America was kind of true. I mean, you know.
I love that movie. Right, people just saw it as a concept, but there are Black queens and kings.
Yeah,
It's
like for real.
Just like Wakanda, it's for real.
For real,
No.
for real.
Yeah, it's for real, for real. It's like we're all like, everyone was like idolizing, and I was the one person like, but we could go to a real life country that's just, everybody looks like us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that's the why I would feel like Africans buck up with African Americans, because I think they feel we lack pride. I never understood why we got on their nerves, because some people I've known have expressed that about African Americans, but they have pride. They have traditions, you know, they have foundation. And to them, I'm not gonna say we don't, but to them, we're spoiled with no, with no type of pride, no type of direction, no type of foundation. And I've heard that before, and I took offense to it before, but then I'm like, maybe some of us don't, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like we still can coincide and learn from each other. There is this little division between, Africans and African Americans, which I feel like needs to be non-existent because we have our struggles here just like they have their struggles there. And like you said, I love how Africa, I saw all online, because that's where I'm at all the time, how they were supporting us doing the George Floyd. And then you probably know the name, I can't think of it. Is it Nigeria? It's a group out there in Africa that was supposed to protect, but they're not protecting the people.
Oh, endsars.
Yeah, endsars. And I like how America reached back, and that this year, once again, another beautiful thing in 2020, this year I saw Africans and African Americans coming as one. It wasn't I have more pride, or y'all got it. It wasn't those things. It was, we're all one. We're all African. Like we're all a people. It is no
singing
them, it's us. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I love that. I thought that was beautiful. Like totally beautiful.
I was just interviewing the singer Lungi Motuang. I'm not pronouncing her last name correctly, but she said it like it was world changing. All the way from South Africa, right? And she's texting me. And so when we were talking about even the race relations and how she thought it was funny that I said that don't call me African American. But when I explained to her that for me, well, I'm Black American, I'm American. If you want to call me if you're trying to identify me, just call me Black, right?
Right.
Because if she were to come to America, she's South African. Or better yet, I went to school with a white boy from South Africa. So when he become a citizen, he's South African. He's going to become African American.
Right.
So he's white, but yet you can't say that he's African American because he's white, So that's why I kind of, that dilemma was always in me. Please don't, but then don't get offended because I love my Black people. I love us so, so, so much. I would never want to be any other race. I love our heritage. I love that I can go. I went to Dominica this time last year, a whole island full of people just like me. And they were like, are you from here? Is your people from here? No, I don't think so. But we look just alike,
Wow.
And it was amazing to me. So I would definitely, I've never been to Ghana. One of my roommates was Ghanaian and she would cook all the time for me. And I texted her the other day, I'm like, please, I would give anything for Ghanaian jollof rice and shito. Like, I really, this is how bad it was, Renita. Like, I'm a foodie. So that's actually another question I'm going to ask you after I say this. Okay. So my Ghanaian friend and I, we used to drive from Lansing, Michigan to Chicago, which is like a 3-hour drive, just to eat Ghanaian food.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
What a journey. Maybe that's your favorite journey.
I am a foodie. I say that like on every episode because on every episode is another question. Growing up, so you said you're from Chicago.
Yes.
And I don't even know what Chicago is known for. I know y'all have y'all's taste of Chicago, but what's one of your favorite Chicago foods?
Deep dish pizza, hands down. No, we don't do that thin crust. We don't do that. We don't do that at all. It's thick. And then it's layered with some meat and then layered with a thick layer of cheese and a thick layer of the sauce. And it's fresh ingredients. And then we throw it in the oven. It's in the oven forever. It takes forever, but like you said, patience. We wait. We wait for it. We get it. It's on the table. We cut it. It's a pie. It's too thick. We don't roll pizza. We don't roll it. We pick it up with our hands. Some people are fancy and bougie. They got the knife and the fork, but no, we pick it up with our hands. We bite it. We consume it, and we're full and we're happy. That is the story, the end of a deep dish pizza.
Wrap it up, close the piano, everything, we go home. That's it. So I know, because I can appreciate a good pizza. I really can. But you would talk about me because I also love thin crust pizza.
Oh.
I know.
But people on kind, we don't judge. Everyone can be their own kind, even if they like thin pizza.
I'm so mad you're so tickled about this too. Well, Renita, I know we're just talking and we're bouncing off of each other. One of my wrap-up questions, you are a podcaster, a vlogger. I've learned so much about even just doing this whole interviewing, scheduling, just from scheduling with you.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, seriously, it was so streamlined, the process. So what advice would you give to any podcaster, vlogger, interviewers, people who just want to start their own thing? What advice would you give?
Just start it. Even if you have no idea how to do it, just start it. And starting can be as small as just thinking of a title, thinking of where you want to stream from. There's so much information out here. Anything that I've learned, it's from the internet or from a fellow podcaster. Even from you, Alexcia, I didn't know you can put things like podcasts on SoundCloud. So now I'm on SoundCloud. Little stuff like that. So I was slowly building as I read up on things and listened to other podcasters. They can give you ideas. They can give you techniques that you may not have. That's how you learn from others and network with other podcasters and people that are like-minded, And another thing I've done was join Facebook groups. There is literally a Facebook group for everything. And so you join some of those groups, and they bounce off ideas, and they tell you things. You can even say, hey, this is my cover art for my podcast. What do you think, A or B? And you get a line of people that are super honest. Like, hey, you should do this. And then some people will listen to your podcast and critique you. That's another thing. Don't be so sensitive with the critiques, because it's to help you. It's to help you grow,
What did Erica say? I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my okay?
Right. I mean, some people can be really rude with it, but the ones that are really they're constructive. I've had people say, hey, I like this, but if you did this, just something as small as uniformity. Someone came to me that listened to my podcast and said, hey, people look for uniformity. So I had it all crazy. Episode 1, and then sometimes the colon was there, sometimes it wasn't. Little stuff like that. So even if you start off and nothing is uniform, you don't have a technique, you don't have it, just start, because it'll come along the way. We're not getting graded on this. This is just something that we want to do. We want to connect. We want to spread a word, spread some advice, whatever, our niche is. So it doesn't have to be perfect, off bat. We can grow with our podcast, so that's the advice I would give.
I definitely relate. I resonate so heavily, because the first episode I interviewed a DJ, and I thought it was going to be so cool to have him, have his DJing in the back, have his set playing while I'm interviewing him. I learned very quickly, do not have music going on in the background, because when it comes to editing, it is hell. So don't do that. Let that be a post-production thing, please. But like I learned so much, even like seriously, after we can do this later, I can schedule a class with you. I fell asleep, and it's no shade, not at all. I fell asleep with a big smile on my face watching your last Shoot the Breeze.
Oh, thanks for watching.
Yeah, I was laughing.
An hour.
It was relatable. I could understand, like, it was nice. And then you had everything, like the comments going back and forth on the screen. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I would have been so overwhelmed. How does she do it all? So eventually I want to move to a platform, even if you mentioned that you saw me on YouTube. So I have a channel. It's not necessarily Ampsconnected podcast channel, but I can't wait to have these episodes, these Zoom episodes, uploaded onto YouTube so that people can connect visually with my artists. So for real, I need your help, Renita.
I'm here. And thank you for watching. I never know who's watching.
Yeah. No problem.
Yeah, definitely. Most definitely. And I learned from you. Like I said, I didn't know we can be on SoundCloud. So when I was looking for your podcast to listen to, I'm like, where is she? And you were on SoundCloud. I looked at your list, I clicked the link, and I'm like, oh, you can be on SoundCloud. And I instantly just start putting stuff on SoundCloud. So like I said, we learn from one another.
Yes.
And I didn't even think of branching outside of the United States. I'm like, how is she even, you've been doing this for a while, and from your travels, I'm sure you've met people all over the world. But it was just like, man, how can I connect beyond home? Yeah. So once again, we all learn from each other.
Mm-hmm. And I'll say too, you can find me on Spotify. I don't even know if it's Spotify. iHeartRadio. I love it. I listen to iHeart. I'm sorry. If I could do a jingle for them, I would. But you can listen to me on iHeartRadio, on iTunes or Apple Podcasts, on SoundCloud. Google me. That's what I would say. You can listen to me on my website, which is actually, there's a SoundCloud widget in my website, but you can find it there as well. So
that's how I found you. That's how I found your podcast on your website. I believe so. Yeah. iHeartRadio. That's cool.
Yeah, iHeartRadio.
So what's in the future for you? What future plans do you have? What can we expect?
Oh, I love this question because it keeps me thinking about my future. I don't ever want to just stop what I'm doing. And I will say I'm going to take the Indiana bar February. So you can see me becoming an Indiana esquire. You can also still see me singing with my band. We're growing here in Lafayette. So my podcast, I'm growing, I'm connecting with more people. So really, I look for myself to just be bigger than where I am today, not necessarily physically, because I'm trying to stay in the gym because the COVID-19 was real. Yeah. I love my job. And so that's why too, I can't really say physically that I would be out of Indiana, but I would hope that by this time next year, we would be a little less restricted and my podcast would have grown a lot more. That would afford me the opportunity to move more, even globally. I would love that. I can't wait. Actually, it was this year. This is December. So November, last month, I was going to take a whole group of people to Dubai and have a whole trip, but COVID happened. But it was kind of, again, that word patient came up. I don't think I was really ready to host a trip with people that I didn't necessarily know. I had never traveled with them and then bring them abroad. I had a whole trip schedule planned for them, itinerary, but it wasn't time. So hopefully maybe next year I'm looking again into doing something like that. It won't be in Dubai, but I hope to be put travel agent under my title.
Nice.
How about you?
I too want my podcast and my brand essentially to grow. I want to own a building for to have a co-working space for all businesses, and also the bottom floor would be for events.
Nice.
So people, what is that called? Rental space for events. So, and also I want to do little grants, like present grants to different small businesses and for people entering college, and not like those traditional grants, like not for tuition. I'm talking about things people don't think about, like books. When I first went to school, I had the grants and all this, and I went to the bookstore and they were like $600.
You're right.
And it's like $600 for books,
Right.
And so my family and I, we had to scramble because we didn't account for books. So I want like a weird scholarship, like one of them odd scholarships. Here's $1,000 just for your books. You know what I'm saying? Like things that you don't think of, a laptop, things that you need. So it's maybe a trunk party type, scholarship. But yeah, that's what I want to do. I just want to give back as much as I can. So also I started freelancing on the side, so I'm hoping to expand that as well. So, and anything I do is to help expand others. And I'm also thinking about going back to grad school to get my doctorates.
Nice.
Yeah, in psychology. So
Nice.
I'm still thinking on it. So, but most likely it'll happen eventually.
Well, I wish you much success on all of your endeavors. If you go back to school, I can't wait for you to become a doctor. Dr. Renita Quirls.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And same for you. I can't wait to see Esquire behind your name on LinkedIn.
Right? Renita, I don't know if you have any more questions for me, but
no, I asked them all. I managed to get them in the conversation.
Nice. Okay. And see, that's what I love. Like, I love about my podcast, especially, it's usually just a conversation that just flows like this. And we're just connecting. We're getting to know each other. I learned a little bit more about you. I need to go to Chicago to have some deep dish. That's what I'm going to do. I also know that I'm going to hire you to help me, like, just do some back end stuff. So you did say you're a freelancer.
Yes, ma'am. Yep.
So I appreciate conversations just like this that just free flow. But I was asking because I want the connectors out there to be able to connect with you after this. You said you're a freelancer. I want them to hire you. So where can connectors connect with you? What are your social medias, emails, all of that good stuff?
I'm everywhere. My email is info@beyourOwnKind.com. My Instagram, none of it is uniform. My Instagram is BE_YourOwnKind, and Twitter is BeYourOwnKind24. Everyone used to Be Your Own Kind, so it was really hard to get that uniform. So that's where you can find me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And connectors, you know how to connect with me. You can connect with me on my website, www.ampsconnected.com. You can email me, info.ampsconnected@gmail.com, or you can find me on Instagram @ampsconnected.
Nice.
Yeah. So I don't know. This has been amazing.
Yes, it has. It's like we're waiting to say more.
I'm like, okay, is she gonna sign off or am I gonna sign off?
Okay. Well, thank you.
But I don't mean to say that, like, to push you off.
So thank you so much, Alexcia, for being a part of our show today. And until next time, everyone, don't forget to be your own kind and to be kind to yourself.